Just before we start the episode, here's a trailer for another podcast. If you like what you hear, go and check it out.
The legend has it, in early 1900, a young lady was raped, murdered, and hung under the Hogback Bridge in Hermitage, Pennsylvania. To this day, if you drive up to the bridge after midnight, turn your car off, leave your keys on the bridge, after 5 minutes, your car will not start. A green light will come up from underneath the bridge towards your car. Or worst yet, the ghost of the murdered girl is in the back seat of your car. This and many other stories can be found on Ghosts in the Valley podcast, available on iTunes and all other downloaded sites. This is Al Cooley from Ghosts in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Joe.
And this is Crime Divers.
Hello everybody, welcome back.
Hello.
So Laura, are you ready for a wee bonus episode today?
I'm always ready for a bonus episode. You must have too much time on your hands.
Well, we are in lockdown, so I might as well make the most of it.
Quite right. So where in the world are we then?
Well, today we are in Denmark. Because we promised the listeners.
We did. I didn't realise you'd actually done it, so that's good.
We promised the listeners that we would do a Denmark one, but to be honest, it was actually quite hard. Because I think Denmark's quite a good place. There's not that much crime, not as much as, like, obviously other places.
Yeah.
So...
To be fair, I don't know any crimes from Denmark. That I could think of anyway.
Well, there was one other one that was about a murder, but I think it was kind of still quite recent, so I'm not entirely sure that it's kind of all wrapped up yet. So
right, okay.
I decided to go way back, so we're in 1887.
Oh wow, that is a long time ago.
Yeah. So
are we going to dive in?
Yeah, we're going to dive in. This episode is called The Angel Maker.
The Angel Maker.
Yeah, and it's about Dagmar, Joanne, Amelie Overbye. So basically just Dagmar Overbye. That's
Okay.
her name.
Oh, it's a girl.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking that was like a boy's name.
What, Joanne, Amelie?
No, but you said Dagmar.
Yeah, Dagmar, Joanne, Amelie.
I know, but I was thinking maybe they were like different people. Like I thought you were just...
Oh, no, that's her full name.
That's her full name.
Yeah,
Right.
Dagmar, Joanne, Amelie Overbye.
Okay.
And she was born on the 23rd of April, 1887.
Mm-hmm.
She lived in a village called Ascend Up. Oh, I should really put an apology in here.
Not because you're rubbish at
Well,
pronouncing.
there wasn't that much hard words, but if I pronounce anything wrong, I apologise now. Anyway, this village is about 22 miles away from Copenhagen in Denmark.
And we all know where. Well, we should all know where Copenhagen is, or have heard of it.
Yes. Is the Little Mermaid not there?
Yes, the statue.
The statue of the Little Mermaid.
That is correct. You do actually know something.
Yes. Her parents, Soren and Anne-Marie, were farmers and they were poor. And because of this, Dagmar would concentrate more on stealing rather than doing her schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was 12, Dagmar was caught stealing a neighbour's purse. And our parents were horrified because, they were decent, hard-working people who would never dream of stealing from anyone. So they sent her to work for a family in a place called Funen. And she was made to cook, clean, wash the clothes, milk the cows and other farming duties. Because they lived on a farm.
Fair enough.
I realised that I hadn't said that.
Can I guess that? But yeah, okay.
I don't know how long she worked there for, but after she started working on the farm, she worked in other people's homes as a servant.
Right.
But eventually she got caught stealing from an employer, so she was arrested and she was sent to prison.
So she hadn't learned a lesson then.
Obviously not. So she went to prison. I don't know how long for, because we're in 1887, because she was obviously older than that now.
Yes.
But there's not that much information.
No.
So when she was released, she went back home to Ascendrup and she found a job as a waitress. She met a man and they started a relationship. Eventually they moved in together and Dagmar gave birth to a baby boy.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, their son died.
Oh.
I don't know how old he was, but he was still a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said that the child had blue lips and all signs pointed to choking, but the coroner's report stated pneumonia
Right.
as the cause of death.
All right.
So people who knew Dagmar were very suspicious about how the baby died.
Okay.
There were lots of rumours about what actually happened, meaning they thought that Dagmar could have been responsible for the baby's death. So Dagmar, she decided to leave town, and she split up with her boyfriend, and she left by herself. So in 1912, she met and fell in love with a man called Jens Sorensen.
What's his name?
Well, it says Jens, but I think it could be Jens.
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 Yeah, I'd probably say Jens.
Jens, okay, we'll call him Jens. Sorry, Jens, well, he's probably not alive.
I was going to say he's probably not alive
Probably
right
not
now.
alive now,
Or
but...
any Jens or Jens out
Yeah,
there.
I do apologise, because, you know, I don't know how to speak Danish. I was going to say Dutch there.
That would be the wrong country.
Yeah, wrong one. Right, so his name was Jens Sorensen, that'll do.
That is it.
Yeah.
I only know that because of probably from football,
Oh,
because most of the surnames of like Danish players tend to be Sorensen.
Really?
Well, there's quite a few. There's a few.
So it's Sorensen.
Yes.
Right. So he didn't know it, but she was actually pregnant with another man's child
All right.
when she met him. So when he found out, she promised to give the baby? Oh my goodness. The baby up for adoption to save him from any further embarrassment, because obviously he was already embarrassed that she was pregnant with somebody else's child.
Because back then that wouldn't have been
Yeah.
accepted and stuff. Yeah.
So she said that she'd give the baby up.
Wow, that's
That's a lot to do for a man,
yeah, I would say so.
because obviously she wouldn't have known him for that long. Because if
No.
you think about it, you have your 9 months. I don't know how far along she was when she first met him, but you're only pregnant for a certain amount of time, so
Yeah,
she obviously
exactly.
didn't know him that long, and
That's-
she was giving up her baby for him.
No, I'm sorry, but
No.
I mean, I know back in those days things were probably a lot different, and things like not being married and having kids out of wedlock was probably frowned upon then, wasn't it?
Yeah, but still, I wouldn't give my baby up for a man.
No.
No.
Just
no.
no.
I don't know what I would do, but I don't know. So you've made me lose my place.
Soz.
Oh, right. So she gave birth to a little girl, and she gave her up straight away.
A shame. Although maybe it wasn't a shame. Maybe it was the best thing.
Well.
Maybe the way this story's probably going to go, it probably was the best thing.
So Dagmar then became pregnant again.
With the man's baby this time?
About a year later with Jens' baby, but he told her to have an abortion.
Okay.
Obviously, abortions were illegal.
Uh-huh.
So she refused, and she went ahead with the pregnancy.
Right.
But once the baby was born, she abandoned him in a haystack.
Lovely.
Yeah, and there was no mention as to what happened to the baby, so I don't know what happened to him. I don't know.
Oh, right. If he was...
Well, I'm assuming he was born alive. You know, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't say, because why else would you wouldn't abandon
Yeah.
him? So, I don't know if... Well, I'm assuming he would be found and maybe and adopted out. I hope. Hopefully he grew up to be fine.
Hope so.
So after that, Jens told Dagmar that he would never marry her. So she's abandoned her baby.
And he would
And
marry her and
he-
she still wants to be with him?
She attempted suicide because of that.
All right.
She didn't succeed, and she managed to get herself back on track.
How can you get yourself back on track after that, man? That's a lot.
That is a lot. I mean...
I'm saying that's bad because, to be fair, people can...
Well,
come
yeah,
back
of
from
course,
that.
yeah, people do get themselves
Yeah,
back on
they
track.
do.
They do, of course. Everybody goes through rough stuff, and you know,
That's true.
people do get themselves back on track. So once she was back on track, and she wasn't feeling suicidal anymore, Dagmar managed to get her daughter back, the one that she'd
Gave away
gave away
before she met Jens. Or when she
when
met
she
Jens.
met, with the other man's baby.
Yes.
So she was 3 now, and her
Right.
name was Irina. So Dagmar and Irina moved to Copenhagen for a fresh start.
Right.
So Dagmar opened up her own sweet shop, and she met a man, and her and Irina moved in with him. Unfortunately, though, the shop didn't make enough money, and she ended up having to close it down.
Right.
So she found a job as a childminder, and one day she was reading the newspaper, and she found an article about women who got paid 500 krona to adopt a baby, and that would be around the same amount as what she would earn in a year at her job as a childminder.
Okay. So it's quite a lot of money.
Because obviously I don't know what 500 krona is, but that
Yeah.
it was
In those
a
days, it was
year's
quite a lot,
It was
yeah.
a year's salary basically.
Right, okay.
So that article gave her the idea to set up an unofficial adoption agency.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So her plan was obviously to take babies born out of wedlock and find them a family and, obviously make a profit out of it.
Right, okay.
So she started to look in the newspapers for mothers advertising babies for adoption, because that's what they did back then.
That just seems so crazy to think that actually happened, but again, back then obviously things were a lot different. So
it's like us these days putting up the baby on eBay or something.
I don't
really,
know,
isn't it?
That would be the equivalent, wouldn't it? eBay or Gumtree or
all these sites now. I mean, like, to put your baby in a
oh my god
newspaper to get adopted.
I think you'd actually be arrested for that.
Well, it's not like you're selling your baby. You're looking for them to be adopted. But obviously these days we've got everything in place to go to like an adoption agency.
Yeah, like proper channels of doing.
But if we didn't have those proper channels, then that's pretty much what it would be like, just putting the baby on eBay.
Yeah. Amazon baby.
I always used to say to the kids when they were younger, if you ever get pregnant, just stick the kid on eBay.
And obviously totally joking.
Of course. But they never got pregnant, so it's fine.
No, not yet anyway.
Not yet. They're still young. So she came across an advert placed by a 26-year-old woman called Yasmin Jensen, and she had given birth to a baby boy out of wedlock and wanted him adopted. So Dagmar contacted her, and on the 15th April 1916, Rasmin handed over 3-week-old Harry, along with 12 krona. So the agreement was that Rasmin was to pay Dagmar 12 krona every month until baby Harry was adopted.
Right, okay.
So that was her fee for looking after him.
Yeah, until she got
until
adopted.
until she managed to find him a family.
Uh-huh.
So after taking the baby into her care, Dagmar put him in his pram and took him for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
But then, trigger warning, she strangled him. I should have put a trigger warning at the start of this episode, shouldn't I? Mm-hmm. This episode involves the death of babies. Sorry, should have said. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
That trigger warning. So, yeah, she strangled him, and she dumped his body in a public toilet at a local cemetery. So the baby's body was left there for 3 days until the cleaners found him. The day that the baby was found, Dagmar had written a letter to the mother, Rasmin, to tell her that he was doing well, and like she was hoping to find him a family soon. So obviously she would still be paying.
So basically, she was pretending that she still had him, and so she would still pay.
Yeah. So this is basically how the story goes. Like,
why couldn't she have just genuinely got him adopted and then?
Well, that was obviously too much hard work for her. She must have seen this as easy money, which is absolutely horrendous.
That is horrendous.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how somebody could do that. But 2 weeks later, Dagmar took another child that was to be adopted, and she murdered the poor baby and dumped the body under a bridge. So with terminations being illegal and often performed at backstreet clinics, they were obviously really dangerous. So this is why a lot of women preferred to go down the adoption route.
Yeah. So
these women, for various reasons, they wanted their children to have a better life than what they could give them.
Unknowingly, they were sending them to their death.
Yeah, but Dagmar was murdering them in cold blood.
That sounds like that other case. Did we do that other case that we did?
Yeah, we haven't done it yet though.
Oh. When have we talked about doing then?
You mean the first one that I did?
Yeah, was that the one?
Jesse King?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we never did that one, did we?
No. But we talked about it.
I did it, I typed it up.
Oh.
We just didn't do it.
That does sound similar.
Yeah, this is basically what she did as well, but not to this extent. I mean, because Jesse King, I think there was only like three children, I think. Can't remember. Anyway, we're not doing Jesse King, we're doing Dagmar Overbye.
Yes.
So to Dagmar, this was easy money, but she did begin to worry about the baby's bodies being traced back to her. So she decided that she would start putting the babies in her masonry heater and cremated them. And I was like, I don't know what a masonry heater is.
No.
So I did Google it, and from the pictures that I saw, it just looks like a fire. But it's in stone.
Right, like a stone fire.
Yeah, but it's like a real fire.
Right, okay.
But they refer to it as a stove as well, so I'm not sure if you can maybe have the fire underneath and you can maybe cook on it. I really don't know.
Multi-purpose.
But yeah, it was a fire basically, so she was cremating them.
Oh my god.
So in July 1920, there was a young mother called Caroline Ageson, and she placed an advert in the paper. She was looking for a family to adopt her newborn illegitimate daughter. Dagmar saw the ad and got in touch with Caroline. They arranged for Dagmar to take the baby, whose name was Sarah, and Caroline told Dagmar that she wasn't sure if she was doing the right thing.
Right.
But Dagmar reassured her and, you know, told her that she'd find Sarah a good, loving family to adopt her. So Caroline agreed and said, yeah, you know, Dagmar was right. It was the best option for the baby. So she paid Dagmar 200 krona and left the baby with her. But the next day, Caroline changed her mind. You know, she wanted Sarah back.
Right.
So she went to Dagmar's apartment and asked for her daughter back. But Dagmar, she said she couldn't remember the address of the family that had adopted her.
What? So she's saying that literally with less than a day she had taken her, adopted her.
I couldn't remember the address.
But
what my issue with that was, I was like, but if she knew that Caroline had doubts, why kill the baby straight away? Like, surely she would have thought, you know, maybe I should wait with this one and see if she comes back and changes her mind.
But she was probably clearly in the throes of it,
and to say that she couldn't remember the address, and I thought, how could you not? It was the day before.
That would ring alarm bells, definitely.
Well, obviously it did with Caroline, so she reported it to the police.
Right.
So the police went to Dagmar's apartment and searched it. They found baby Sarah's clothes first, and later they found the remains of her bones and skull and the ashes of the stove.
Oh my God. So it's literally like she took her off her hands and
literally just killed her straight away.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, which is absolutely horrendous. Like, for all of them, like for all of the ones that she did, because there was obviously a lot more.
Yeah.
But as I said, like, surely obviously I can't think in the mind of a killer, but surely if Caroline had doubts about it and was like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, there's a good chance that she was going to change her mind.
Yeah.
And that was her downfall, because that's what led to her getting caught.
Yeah, because she was too quick just to
I think she was obviously just getting too greedy, and it was like,
probably, yeah,
you know, too much effort to look after a child for any more than a few hours. So
get it, kill it, take
that's
the money.
awful.
That's shocking.
It is. So obviously Dagmar was arrested, and she confessed to killing 16 babies. So the police, sorry, I've just totally got myself. I'll start that again. Dagmar was arrested and she confessed to killing 16 babies.
Right.
The police only found the remains of 9 babies, so she was charged with 9 counts of murder. But it is believed that Dagmar actually killed 29 babies.
Wow.
And one of them was her own child, so the little one that died.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, the little boy. So apparently she did kill him.
I wonder why then she kept her daughter. Like...
Well, yeah, I mean... Why did she keep her daughter?
She gave her up first, but then why was she desperate to get her back? And
I thought, well, she's killed one baby of hers. She's went back for the daughter that she had adopted, but then she had the little boy that she abandoned. Surely she could have maybe traced.
Yeah.
Or well, maybe she did. Maybe she did look for him and she couldn't find him.
Maybe he did die.
I don't know as I said, I don't know the circumstances with him. So, but I wish. I would have liked to know why she killed the first baby, though, because that was her baby. Like, we can see why. We don't understand why, but we can see why she was killing the other babies, because it was for money. She was making a profit. But for her own baby, I have no idea why she did that.
Yeah. The thing is, again, we can't go into the minds of a killer, but it seems like strange why she couldn't, if she wanted to do the adoption thing, like do it properly, like actually find homes for these kids, because they may well have been a lot, at that time there was probably families that maybe, because it was also a popular thing, if people were constantly putting adverts in papers and stuff, then people were clearly adopting.
And even now,
or even
there's a big,
could she not have been like a, like the middleman, as you call it, like sort of, so somebody puts an ad in the paper and she goes, right, well, I'll find a family for you, but that person has to keep a hold of the baby until she finds a family, so she wouldn't have had to look after them at all.
Well, I mean, there was other ways of doing it.
Yeah, but it didn't involve killing the kids.
And
she could have still made the money.
I wouldn't have thought it would have been that hard, because, I mean, look at us today. There's millions of, women that...
And families.
That, they can't have babies, so they'd be quite happy
to adopt a baby. If it's all about not wanting to look after the child, surely she didn't have to. She could have just been in contact with the family saying, I'll find you a family. As soon as I find one, I'll let you know. And then you can pass the child over.
Obviously she had a sick mind.
Well, she must have, because I can't think of any other reason why she would have done that.
That's, but I just don't understand, like, why would that thought even come into your head? If I was reading a paper and it was like, oh, you can get whatever it was it 500 kronas for adopting a baby. Oh, I could set up an adoption agency to make myself some money. That's as far as I would go. I'd be like that. You know, I wouldn't be thinking about what I was going to do with the child because it'd be obvious what I was going to do with the child. It's an adoption agency.
Yeah, so you were going to get them adopted for the person that's
yeah. You would be helping two families, you know, obviously the birth mother and the new family. You're helping them. You're helping the baby go to a better life, and you're making a bit of money.
And that's why I'm saying she didn't even need to have the child in her care to do that. Surely.
No. So she's obviously
stupid,
sick and twisted. Well, I think more than stupid.
Well, yeah. I was going to say I've tried to be nice about it, but I don't know why I'm trying to be nice about it.
Don't try to be nice because she was obviously an absolute monster.
Definitely.
So Dagmar went on trial in March 1921 and she admitted killing the babies. At the trial, more revelations came to light when the investigators' evidence included photos that had been found in Dagmar's apartment of 20 naked children that she had murdered.
Why would she take photos of them?
I don't know, and why were they naked?
Well, yeah.
I have no idea.
She was definitely sick and twisted.
Yeah, so she was found guilty and sentenced to death. She was the first woman to be given the death penalty since 1861. But the King of Denmark at the time changed the death penalty to life imprisonment because he said that a modern, enlightened Denmark such as his did not convict its women to death. Right. Well, I'm sorry. Like, like, why would you not convict your woman to death? So it's alright to convict a man to death, but not a woman.
Yeah.
So this woman,
she lost her rights to anything. I mean, she was a monster. She committed those horrific crimes. So
I mean, I'm not saying I always agree with the death penalty, but if you're going to give the death penalty, why is the king taking it away? Like it should the death penalty be, as you said, it should be based on the crime, not on the person's gender.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if that was a man, because that's what it sounds like to me, if that had been a man that killed all those babies, he would have got put to death. Yeah. So, just because she is a woman doesn't make her any better.
Well, no, she was horrible, vile, and sick, twisted, as we've said. She clearly deserved it.
So I don't agree with the King of Denmark. Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. King.
Sorry, Mr. King, even though he's...
Yeah, he'll be dead as well.
Yeah. But anyway, so in 1923, the Danish government passed a law relating to children born out of wedlock. Right. So it meant that public homes had to be established for the children. So obviously,
like when they go to like a care home or something.
Yeah, I was going to say an orphanage, but yeah, like a care home.
Yeah.
To stop young mothers from handing their children over to people
like that,
like Dagmar. So that was good. So in one way, like at least there was a law passed.
I suppose that came out of it, but
yeah,
still.
But Dagmar died on the 6th of May, 1929, at the age of 42.
Oh, so she still actually was quite young. So
yeah, and I mean she only got put in jail. So she was only in jail for like 8 years before she died because she went on trial in 1921.
Right. And
then died in 1929.
So she didn't really get much of a punishment.
No, she didn't get much of a punishment, and she died at the age of 42, which, yeah, so it is young, but like, well, I don't know what she died of, so...
I suppose back in those days, life expectancy wasn't as high as it is now, is it? There was always some kind of diseases and stuff that weren't as well treated as they are these days,
So there's your Denmark case, your Danish case, and I don't think we'll be going back to Denmark because, as I said, there doesn't seem to be much crime.
Unless anybody knows of any Denmark cases.
Yeah, or maybe I just had to dig a bit deeper, but, you know, that was the one that kind of kept the other one that I mentioned earlier and this one were the two. I'm sure there's obviously been more, but they were the two ones that sort of kept coming up. So that's why I did this one.
Well, there you go. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. So thank you for listening, everybody. If you would like to follow us on social media, we are on Twitter and Instagram.
crime_divers_pod.
We have a Facebook page,
Crime Divers Podcast.
You can email us at
crime_divers_pod@outlook.com.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel,
which is Crime Divers
Podcast. And if you would like to financially support the show, we have Patreon. So it's patreon.com/crimedivers, and we do 2 bonus episodes a month, and you know you can get early access and whatnot. So the tiers start out from as little as £1 a month. So if you'd like to go and check that out, that'd be great. But any support is, what's the word? Appreciated.
Appreciated.
Couldn't think of the word there. And also, if you could
rate, review, subscribe.
That's it. I could not think what I was going to say. Like something.
Rate, review, subscribe.
Yes, that would be brilliant. So thanks very much.
Thanks for
We'll
listening.
be back soon.
Bye.
Bye.